Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach. If you would like to download tonight's service, we have a lot of interesting things going on in this service because we are combining, this evening, we are combining Shabbat and we are combining Simchat Torah. That way everyone has a chance to take a look at our Torah and for us to begin and end our Torah readings for this past year. If you'd like to download our prayer book, you may want to do that because we have a lot of extra things in the service tonight. But we are here in the sanctuary, and we wish you were here with us this evening. All right. We begin on page 125 in our festival and weekday prayer book.
May our eyes sparkle with the light of Torah, and our ears hear the music of its words. May the space between each letter of the scrolls bring warmth and comfort to our soul. May the syllables draw holiness from our heart, and may this holiness be gentle and soothing to us and all God's creatures.
Page 120, we will light our Sabbath and Yontif candles. And I'm going to move the camera. We have our... Oh. There we go.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, shel Yom Tov v'Shabbat.
I gotta get it centered. May these festival lights open our eyes to the joys in life, beauty that delights the eyes, freedom to be ourselves, the knowledge of Torah that shapes our moral being, the heritage of celebration that unites us as a people. Praise to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, for giving us life, sustaining us, and enabling us to reach this season. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'achianu v'kiyamanu v'hegianu lazman hazeh. Because it is Shabbat, we go to the top of page 22, where you can find Psalm 92, Mizmor Shir. Mizmor Shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot la'Adonai. Uzamer l'shimcha elyon, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor Shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot la'Adonai. Uzamer l'shimcha elyon, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Lehagid b'boker chazdacha, ve'emunatcha b'leilot. Aleh asur, aleh nava, aleh higayon bechidon. Mizmor Shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot la'Adonai. Uzamer l'shimcha elyon, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Ki simachtani Adonai befo'alecha, lema'aseh yadacha ranei. Ma gadlu ma'aseh Adonai, me'od amkum machshavotah. Mizmor Shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot la'Adonai. וזמר לשמך עליון, וזמר לשמך עליון. Page 126, Tzadika Tamar. Tzadika Tamar yifrach, keres bavanon yizgeh, shetulim bebet Adonai. Bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu, od yenuvun beseva, deshenim bera'ananim yiyu v'hagi. Ki Yashar Adonai Tzuri Velo Avlatabo. We turn to the Chatzi Kaddish, which can be found on page 128. Again, if you have just joined us, we are combining Shabbat and Simchat Torah this evening so that everyone has a chance to celebrate. You can either use our full booklet, or you can use our weekdays and festival booklet, or you can go to sinaireno.org/live and you can download our PDF, which just has everything that you need and nothing extra in it. So those are your three options.
What do I do if I get bored and want to wander around through the prayer book?
Well, you can't do that with ours.
We join together for the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yalma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei.
B'chayechon v'yomechon u'chayedecho Beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, u'bizman kariv.
V'yimeru.
Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach. Le'olam olam me'omaya yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach. V'yitpar v'yitroma v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal. Shmei d'kudesha b'richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata.
Tushbechata v'nechemata tamihiram be'alma.
V'yimeru.
Amen. We all rise for the Baruch Hu. Yai da dai 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 dai. Yai da dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai da dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Baruch Hu et Adonai Amevorach. Baruch Adonai Amevorach. Amevorach le'olam ba'ed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach, le'olam ba'ed. Hafach ba v'hafach ba d'cholava. Turn Torah and keep turning it, for everything can be found in it. Keep your eyes attached to it. Spend your lifetime in its study. Never budge from it, for there is no better way of life than this. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
Source of life, every year you plant within us a new tree of life. May it be your will that this year our Torah blossoms with kindness and not cruelty, wisdom and not foolishness, awareness and not thoughtlessness. May you teach us a Torah of love that will nourish us in every season.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. The Shema can be found on page 136. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hashem Tevot Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated.
We continue together with the V'ahavta, page 138. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavacha hayom halevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'shofecha u'v'kumnecha u'shartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'hisharecha L'man tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Adonai Elohechem. We read responsively the next page. Doubting is but the forefront of faith, a faith in the infinite growth of an unbounded creation.
A doubting age is one of restlessness and discontent with what is current. A doubt is an idea that is still alive.
To doubt that the past has uncovered all things is to express faith that many things are still to be uncovered.
The doubt that we have grown to our full stature and knowledge is to express faith that we may develop into beings of such power and dignity that we cannot as yet imagine what shall be. Mi Chamocha can be found on page 40. Mi Chamocha. Oh, I'm still in High Holiday. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha me'eno b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osef eleh, Nora tehilot osef eleh. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokeh yom lifnei Moshe. Zelianu ve'amru, Zelianu ve'amaru. Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar ki kol Adonai et Yaakov u'galo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael.
Bottom of page 145. May we lie down this night in peace and rise up to life renewed. May this night spread over us a canopy of calm, lifted by the blessing of rest. There will come a time when the morning will bring no word of war, famine, or anguish. There will come a dawn to rejoice in the peace of mind, heart, and being. Praised are you, the source of renewal within us, for the night's rest and for the promise of peace.
Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Ve'shamru b'nei Israel et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. הניעו בין בני ישראל, עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וידבר משה את מועדי אדוני על בני ישראל. And Moses declared the appointed festivals of Adonai to the people of Israel. We begin the Amidah on page 204 in your festival book. If you have the full book, we would be on page 468. We all rise. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Bekoneh Hakol, Bezocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava. Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham be'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah rav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechakel chaim b'chesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim berofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umakayem emunato l'shenei afar. Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umidom elach, Melech memit umechayeh, umatmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah l'hachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol.
Remember those whose hearts poured out to you like water, who trusted that the journey would lead to you.
For Abraham and Sarah's faith, do not withhold water.
Remember the one chosen for her words, please take some water. And remember the one whose blood was almost spilled like water.
For Rebekah and Isaac's righteousness, grant water.
Remember how Jacob crossed the river to wrestle in the waters of his conscience. Recall the sisters' tears, their waters of birth, their tents of peace.
For Jacob, Rachel, and Leah, fill the earth with needed water. Libracha v'lo liklala, l'chaim v'lo l'mavet, l'sova v'lo l'ratzon, for blessing and not for curse, for life and not death, for abundance and not want. Page 210. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yihallelu salah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Page 214.
You have chosen us in love and favor by making us holy through your mitzvot and drawing us close to your service, that through us your great and holy name may become known in all the earth. Together, in your love, Adonai our God, you have given us Shabbatot of rest, feasts of gladness, and seasons of joy. This Shabbat day and this festival of Atzeret Simchat Torah, season of rejoicing, to unite and worship and recall the exodus from Egypt.
Page 216. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, ya'aleh v'yavo v'yizacher zichronenu, v'zichron kol amcha beit Yisrael lefanecha, letova, lechein, ol chesed, ol rachamim, l'chaim, ol shalom, b'yom hashmini chag ha'atzeret hazeh. Our God and God of our ancestors, be mindful of your people Israel, and recall our merit for good and grace, and in loving kindness and compassion for life, and peace on this festival of Atzeret Simchat Torah.
Zuchrenu Adonai Eloheinu bo l'tova.
This day, remember us for well-being. Amen.
Ufokdenu vo livracha.
This day, bless us with your nearness. Amen.
V'hoshienu vo l'chaim.
This day, help us to a fuller life.
Amen.
Amen. Page 218.
Bestow upon us the blessing of your holy festivals, and may we so celebrate them as to be worthy of your blessing, our God and God of our ancestors. Make us holy with your mitzvot, and let your Torah be our way of life. May our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. Let your Shabbatot and holy festivals remain our heritage, and let us celebrate them with love and favor and joy, so that all Israel, hallowing your name, may have cause to rejoice. We praise you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat, the house of Israel, and the festivals.
Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat v'Yisrael v'hazmanim. Page 220.
Find favor, Adonai, our God, with your people Israel, and accept their prayer in love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. God, who is near to all who call, turning lovingly to your servants, pour out your spirit upon us. Let our eyes behold your loving return to Zion.
Baruch atah Adonai, hamachazir shchinato l'Tzion. Our ancestors acclaimed the God whose handiwork they read in the mysterious heavens above and in the varied scene of earth below. In the orderly march of days and nights, of seasons and years, and in the checkered fate of humankind. Lift up your eyes, look up. Who made these stars? Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lecha na'el lehodot. We read responsibly on page 225.
You have called us to peace, for you are peace.
Grant us the vision to realize these aims.
Where there are ignorance and superstition,
let there be enlightenment and knowledge.
Where there are prejudice and hatred,
let there be acceptance and love.
Where there are fear and suspicion,
let there be confidence and trust.
Where there are tyranny and oppression,
let there be freedom and justice.
Where there are poverty and disease,
let there be prosperity and health.
Where there are strife and discord,
let there be harmony and peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We take a moment for silent prayer. We turn to Oseh Shalom at the bottom of page 62. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. So here's where we start doing some choreography. We are going to move to the arc, which means shifting our camera to the arc, and then we're going to have all sorts of different cameras going, so bear with us. All right, now we can see the arc. Yay, okay. We all rise. Atah horaita lada'at, ki Adonai hu Elohim, ein od milvado, le'aseh niklot gedolot levado. Ki le'olam chasdo. We need our masks. We're going to be inviting up Marilyn Roberts to help us. So we're putting on our masks so as to keep her safe. Come on up, Marilyn. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadol Adonai, Romama Shemo Yachdav. Now, we are going to do something completely different. Since we only have the three of us, we figured 7 hakafot for the three of us means that we're all going to be dead tired by the end of it. So instead, we are going to take our Torahs to 7 different places in our lovely little synagogue that we know that everyone misses so much. So we are going to, here we go. All right. Okay, hopefully everyone can hear me. All right. All right, can everyone see them? Yay! Okay. Good. So for our very first section, we are going to be singing one song the whole time. We will sing An Adonai Hoshiana, An Adonai Hatzlichana, An Adonai Anenu, B'yom Koreinu, Anenu, B'yom Koreinu, Anenu, B'yom Koreinu. First Hakafah. So this time you guys actually have to do a little bit of dancing. So.
Well, I wore my dancing shoes. How about you, Marilyn?
Yeah. We've all got our dancing shoes on. All right, let's go. That's right. Elohei Haruchot Hoshiana, B'chein Levavot Hatzlichana, Goel Chazak Anenu, B'yom Koreinu, Anenu, anenu, biyom korenu. Anenu, anenu, biyom korenu. Anenu, anenu, biyom korenu. Anenu, anenu, biyom korenu. That's our sanctuary hakafah. Next, we are going to the lobby for our lobby hakafah.
Let's talk about the lobby. Let's
Dover tzedakot Hoshiana Hadur bilvusho Hatzlichana Vatik b'chasiranenu B'yom korenu Anenu, anenu B'yom korenu Anenu, anenu B'yom korenu Anenu, anenu B'yom korenu Anenu, anenu B'yom korenu. Next one is outside. So everyone can see our lovely synagogue. Taking the Torahs on the road. This is Hakafah number 3. Outside Hakafah. Zach v'yashar Hoshiana Chomer dalim Hatzlichana Tovu metiv Biyom korenu, anenu, anenu, biyom korenu, anenu, anenu, biyom korenu, anenu, anenu, biyom korenu, anenu, anenu, biyom korenu. And now we're going into the social hall for Hakafah number 4. Yodea machashavot Hoshiana Kabir ben Ahor Hatzlichana Lovish tzedakot anenu B'yom korenu Anenu, anenu B'yom korenu Anenu, anenu B'yom korenu Anenu, anenu, b'yom korenu. Anenu, anenu, b'yom korenu. Next is the small social hall. It is waiting for onegs as soon as we can do them. Melech olamim, Hoshiana, Na'or ve'adir, Hatzlichana. Somech noflim anenu, b'yom korenu, anenu, anenu, b'yom korenu, anenu, anenu, b'yom korenu, anenu, anenu, b'yom korenu, anenu, anenu, b'yom korenu. Hakafah number 6 is everyone's favorite place, the kitchen. I know there are many people who miss this kitchen and all of the lovely food that we prepare in it. We even tried to clean it up a little. Ozer dalim Hoshiana Podeh umatzil Hatzlichana Tzur olamim anenu B'yom korenu Anenu, anenu B'yom korenu Anenu, anenu, b'yom korenu. Anenu, anenu, b'yom korenu. Anenu, anenu, b'yom korenu. Then the library. Let's keep doing our anenus. Anenu, anenu, b'yom korenu. Anenu, anenu, b'yom korenu. Anenu, anenu, b'yom korenu. Anenu, anenu, b'yom korenu. These classrooms miss their children. All right, so our library. Kadosh v'norah, Hoshiana, Rachum v'chanun, Hatzlichana, Shomer habrit anenu, b'yom korenu, anenu, anenu, b'yom korenu, anenu, anenu, b'yom korenu, anenu, anenu, b'yom korenu, anenu, anenu, b'yom korenu. All right, let's put our Torahs back except for the one Rabbi Benjamin's holding. Anenu b'yom koreinu, 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 Tomek timimim Hoshiana Takif lad Hatzlichana Tamim basobanenu B'yom koreinu Anenu 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 b'yom koreinu. Thank you, Marilyn. You can close that up. And we are going to go to a totally different camera. Normally, we would, here, let's hit the button on this camera. We get these terrible feedbacks if we, there we go. Okay. Now it's time to,
I'm getting old.
all right. Hopefully everyone can hear us. All right. So normally, normally we would be calling up our Chatan or Kalat, or for our non-binary folk, our Yedidet Torah. But we are not going to do that this year since we are not chanting from the Torah and since we don't have a live minyan, but we are still going to do our traditional reading of the end and reading of the beginning. I will do that. So you can skip through until you get to our La'asok b'divrei Torah, which is a few pages past all of the imds. All right, so top of page 86. Our blessing for studying Torah as we are doing today. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. And if you want to go to the next page, you can see we will end the book of Deuteronomy with Deuteronomy 34, 10 to 12. All right. So this is V'zot HaBracha. Marilyn, if you hold that end, and I'll hold this end. And we are right here. Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right, and we are hearing about how there is no prophet like Moses. V'lo kam navi od b'Yisrael k'Moshe asher yadu Adonai panim al panim l'chol ha'otot v'hamoftim asher shalachu Adonai la'asot be'eretz Mitzrayim lefar'o ulchol avadav ulchol artso ulchol hayad hachazaka ulchol hamorah hagadol asher asa Moshe le'enei kol Yisrael. And at the end, on the next page, we say together, Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. Be strong, and let us strengthen one another. So at this time on Simchat Torah, we do one of my favorite things, which I learned from my mentor, Rabbi Jack Paskoff of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, at Sheri Shemayim. He would go through the entire Torah and he would explain the whole Torah. We always had it kind of rolled out so that everybody could see it, but I am going to explain some of the pieces to you. Rabbi Benjamin, can you check and make sure that we don't have any sound issues real quick? We are going to actually go backwards through the Torah, which should be a lot of fun, because we need to roll this back to Bereshit to start the Torah over again. We good? All right, excellent. So one of the first things that you're going to notice is that V'zot HaBracha, which is our very last parsha of the Torah, looks really strange. We've got 2 columns here, and some of the Torah portions that we have different pagination and different paragraphs, so that you can kind of see see that it's different just by looking at it. Also, this is our Sofer's. Oh, you can sort of see it on the. There we go. This is our Sofer's mark. So that's really fun. Every Torah has one. Sometimes it's handwritten, sometimes it's stamped. All right, so we are going to keep going through. We have ended the book of Deuteronomy, and we're going to, Rabbi Mensman, if you just let him pull, that would be great. All right, so as we go through, we are, getting further and further away from the promised land, unfortunately, because we're going backwards in the Torah. You'll notice, pause real quick, you'll notice that there are paragraph breaks here, and sometimes the paragraph breaks are at the very beginning, right? Kind of like you would imagine, but sometimes they're also in the middle here, and they have spaces here. Oftentimes that turns into a chapter break, but not always. The book of Deuteronomy, which is the book that we're in right now, is a retelling of the books of Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers. And those of you who are in our Torah study know that our Deuteronomic author is a very, very unsubtle author. And so you'll notice many things about the book of Deuteronomy, kind of things that say things like, you shall teach them to your children diligently, and you shall always make sure to teach them over and over and over and over again, because our Deuteronomic author is not subtle. Let's go through. We're going to keep going. See, I get to just point at things, and, he has to roll this whole thing. This is my favorite part. Okay, so let's keep going. Yeah, we want to make sure to, just keep it taut. Yeah. All right, so right here, these are the blessings and the curses that happen. You'll see the word arur. Arur means cursed be. So arur, 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 arur. That's all the bad stuff. And everyone has to say amen at the end. The curses and the blessings are one of the big portions that happens in the middle of the preparation for the high holiday season. So let's keep going. All right. Keep going. I hope that for some of you for whom this is the first time that you're actually getting to see the whole Torah, you can say Shehachianu. If that's you, feel free to say amen to the blessing that I'm about to say. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehachianu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Amen. You get full credit. All right. So, no, keep going. So we are traveling backwards through the desert at this point. Now, the parchment that the Torah is made out of is actually, this one is cow skin, and you can actually see here real quick, you can see some of the spots that were once on the cow. That's one of my favorite things about the cow parchment. Now, we only ever touch the ink of the Torah with the yad itself, because your fingers can smear it. You'll see that some of these have been corrected. Because you can kind of scrape off some of this for certain letters and then correct them. That's the job of a sofer, the person who writes the Torah scroll. And yeah, we're talking about judges and stuff here. Shoftim v'shotrim. We are going through and setting up Israelite society at this point in the Torah. So let's keep going.
Are you going to mention the vav at the beginning of each column?
No, I totally forgot about that. All right, at the beginning of each column. See, this is why I have the JPC chair here with me. Okay, at the beginning of each column is a vav, except for a couple of exceptions. The beginning of every column has to be the letter vav here. So you'll see vav, 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 and then we'll see when we get to the exception, we'll see where what it is, because we've got all sorts of fun things that are allowed to be exceptions to that rule. All right, keep going. All right, oh, real quick. This here, if you'll look, this is well before justifying margins, self-justifying margins. This is how we justify the margins here, because you'll see the margins are beautiful here. And if you look really closely, I'm not sure you can see from here, but there are little etchings here where the sofer etches lines into it so that they can write very neatly on it. But sometimes you get to the end of a line and you go, oh no, I only have a 3-letter word. This one's too long for me to squish onto this one. So I have to make this hey exaggerated long and this resh very, very long. Any of these horizontal lines are allowed to be elongated. But you'll also see the exact opposite, as in this line, where you get to the end and you go, oh no, I have to squish all of these words together in the very end of the line. So it can be really fun. This is where some of the Sofer's personality and their precision kind of comes in. Some of them look like computer fonts. Ours actually looks like handwriting, which I really like. So let's keep going. And you'll see we've got a mem that's allowed to do that same thing. We got a couple more corrections here. One of the cool things about how we correct the Torah is we are supposed to ask a small child, because kids don't lie. And if the child can identify the correct letter, the child, then it doesn't need to be corrected. But if it doesn't, if they can't identify the correct letter, stop please. If they can't identify the correct letter, then it does need to be corrected. All right. We have here our second iteration of the Ten Commandments. Kavod et avicha ve'et imach. And we've got lo tirtzach, lo tinaf, lo tignov. All the Ten Commandments come twice in the Torah. This is the second of the two. The other one is in the book of Exodus. This is much more fun when you guys are here because then I quiz you. Marilyn's just happy that she's got a mask on and she doesn't have to say anything. So right here, and it's paginated differently again so that you can actually see see it as you're going through the Torah. All right, let's go. Oh, I'm sorry. See, you went too fast. Okay, right over here, if you notice, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, and the ayin and the dalet are both enlarged there. And if you'll notice, Ken, if you don't want to be in the shot, you got to move, man. Our ark has the ayin and the dalet. Aid is the Hebrew word for witness. And so we always enlarge the ayin and the dalet. And then you know the rest of this. We do that every single time, and it continues throughout here. So it's right next to the Ten Commandments, our second iteration. All right, now you can keep going. All right, so now we are getting closer and closer to the very beginning of our journey through the wilderness. And one of the things that you'll notice with the next poll that Rabbi Benjamin does is, oh no, keep going, more. Many of these lines are, Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe, God said something to Moses. Okay, stop. This is a chapter break. So this is the very end of the book of Numbers and the very beginning of the book of Deuteronomy. Ela Devarim Asher Diber Moshe El Kol Yisrael. So this is the very beginning of the book of Deuteronomy and the very end of the book of Numbers. All right, so let's keep going through the book of Numbers. So the book of Numbers is all about our adventures in the wilderness in a different kind of detail than the book of Deuteronomy. We get our section with the tzitzit here. The section of the V'ahavta, when we say the V'ahavta part, the very last section where it talks about our tzitzit and wearing fringes on the corners of our garments is here. I'm going to keep looking for it. Keep going. Yeah, we're good. All right, you'll notice we still have a vav at the top of each of these columns. Keep going. All right, keep going. This is hard because we got to keep it nice and tight. Okay, uvayom, uvayom, uvayom. Okay, keep going. All right. We've got, all right, so through the book of Numbers, we've got this is our census here. B'nai Gad, the sons of God, the sons of Judah, the sons of Issachar, the sons of Zebulun, all of the different sons of Jacob, the tribes of Jacob, are here in our census here. Keep going. All right. All right, so right here, where we would normally have a vav, we've got a mem. And the mem section says, you might recognize it, Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. It is one of the only non-vavs that's allowed at the top of a column. And that is, how beautiful are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. And it's become our blessing for the synagogue. You can keep going. And you'll see this Sofer was having a day trying to fit some of these letters in. Okay. Keep going. All right. Now, somewhere. Okay, keep going. We're going to keep going. Numbers, we're going to kind of speed through. Okay. Somewhere here is going to be the Birkat Kohanim, but that'll take a bit. So as we travel through the wilderness here, yes, that looks really good. Okay. All right, so here we'll see something really interesting. We've got a backwards nun and a backwards nun here. And in the middle of these two nuns, which are just kind of diacritical marks, is Vayhi bin Soha Aaron, Vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai, Viafutsu Oivecha, Vianusu Misanecha Mipanacha, Unucho Yomar, Shuva Adonai, Revavot, Al Pei Yisrael. So that is the section of what was said as the ark moved through the wilderness, and it's a part of our Torah service, actually, at this point in Jewish history. So let's keep going. The diacritical signs actually come from Greek. That backwards nun was meant to apparently look like a Greek letter. All right. Then here, do one more like half pull. There you go. Here we have Vaydaber Adonai Moshe Lemor Daber El Aharon Ve'el Banav Lemor. This is Yivarechacha Adonai V'Yishmerecha Ya'er Adonai Panav Elecha V'Yichonecha Yisa Adonai Panav Elecha V'Yasem Lecha Shalom. This is our Birkat Kohanim, the blessing that the Kohen says over the people Israel. So let's keep going.
And that is one of the oldest pieces of text that we have.
Right. And it's, again, paginated differently so that you can recognize it when you see it. Good. Mm-hmm. You can see Rabbi Benjamin is working his butt off over here.
Yeah. This and dancing. I get my workout tonight.
Yeah, sure. All right. So here at the beginning of Numbers, keep going. At the beginning of Numbers, we've got this census again. We are cataloging all of the men in Israel. And then here at the beginning of Numbers, Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe Bamidbar Sinai. So God said to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, Bamidbar is the Hebrew name for the book of Numbers. And this here again is a chapter break. So this is the book of Numbers, and this is my favorite book, the book of Leviticus. So let's start going through the book of Leviticus. All right, so Leviticus is the Torah Kohanim. It is the book of the laws of the priests, and we've got everything that a priest could possibly want to know about what it means to be a priest and what you're supposed to be doing. There are 603,550 letters in the Torah, which is the exact number of Israelite males who left Egypt. All right, here, no, keep going. All right. Okay, now somewhere here is Vayishav Alav et ha, and that is the middle verse of the Torah, but let's keep going. We'll see if I can find it. It's really hard to find in these. All right, again, look, Vav, 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 and so on and so forth. Marilyn, are you on Vav duty looking for? Okay, so Marilyn's looking for the other ones.
Vav, boom.
Okay, Vav, Vav, boom, that's right. Keep going. So the book of Leviticus has all sorts of things about sacrifice. And a lot of people spend the book of Leviticus telling stories about anything but what's going on in Leviticus. And I think we shortchange ourselves when we do that, because the book of Leviticus is our first attempt to get close to God. And the ways, all this massive amount of detail, look at all this detail. So let's pause here. The massive amount of detail in the book of Leviticus is all about the human search for God. And I think that that's a really important piece that often gets missed when we study the book of Leviticus. Here at the very beginning of the book of Leviticus, hopefully you can see, the first word is Vayikra, which is the word, which is the name of the book of Leviticus here in Hebrew. And you'll notice that this aleph is teeny tiny. And I'm going to actually try to get this closer so that you can actually see. This aleph right here is about half the size of any of the other letters. There are lots of legends and midrashim about why that's the case. My favorite of them is the one that the aleph was humble and silent, and so it was given that very tiny designation there. It was chosen by God to be the last letter of that middle book of the Torah. So this is the beginning of the book of Leviticus and the end of the book of Exodus. And so let's march through Exodus. We know the book of Exodus. The book of Exodus is our Prince of Egypt book, our Passover book. It's got all that good stuff. It's got warriors and killings and pharaohs and plagues and all of that. Oh, okay, good. All right, so Marilyn is alerting us to the fact that we've got Shomer lecha et asher anochi mitzavcha hayom. All right, observe, y'all, or observe you, all the things that I have commanded you today. This is the revelation at Mount Sinai, all sorts of fun stuff here. So let's keep going. We've got Pharaoh, we've got Aaron, we've got Moses, we've got Miriam. Let's find some of their names. We've got Moshe here. Keep going. We've got plagues. We've got somewhere in here is Ozivazim. Yeah, we've got Vayomer El Moshe. Okay, Vaydaber Adonai El Moshe. Everyone's talking to Moses because Moses is our main character here. Keep going. I want to find Miriam. This is Aharon, the name Aaron here. And let's find the name Miriam. So keep going. And keep going. Okay. Yeah, sometimes we get some cool pagination up here, but look, again, Vav, even when it's got some weird pagination. Okay, keep going. All right, so this is our first section of the Ten Commandments here. And again, we have Lo Tirtzach, Lo Tinaf, Lo Tignov. All right, our first segment, this is Exodus 20. Let's keep going because we got all sorts of good stuff.
We have a hay coming up.
Oh, good. All right. So here, you'll notice this is one of the most distinctive portions here. This is the Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea. This is the section that was said on the shores of the sea where Miriam, let's find, oops, keep getting caught on the tripod. Okay.
I think that's where the hay is.
Yes. Yep. Hanbi'im acherim, haba'im acherim, acharehem biyom lo. Okay, so this is the beginning of the Shirat Hayam. I'm looking for Mitzrayim. Okay, so they're next to. I thought she was here. Okay. Anyways, so it's Az Yashir Moshe uvenei Yisrael et Ashira Hazot Ladonai vayomru lemor Ashira Ladonai ki ga'o ga'a sus barachvo rama vayam. And then something you guys might recognize: Ozi v'zimrat ya vayehi li lishua ze'ili v'anvehu Elohei avi ba'arom amenhu. So this is our song at the sea, and Miriam. Here we go. V'tikach Miriam, the prophetess, took her, the sister of Aaron and Moses, took her timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her, just as she had planned, right? So this is Miriam here, who is the singer of the Shirat Hayam, along with the other women of Israel. All right, let's keep going through the book of Exodus. This section that we're coming into here is all the plagues and Pharaoh, Moses saying, let my people go, and Pharaoh saying, no. And if you'll notice, there's a difference between the prose and the poetry, right? The Shirat Hayam looked like poetry, and these big blocks of prose look like prose, just kind of the same way that we do in English or in any other language here. And here is the very beginning of the book of Exodus. Ve'ela Shemot. Shemot is the name of the book of Exodus. Ironically, also Shemot means names. So these are the names of the tribes of Israel who came out of Mitzrayim, out of Egypt. And now we have the book of Genesis. The book of Genesis that ends with Joseph's bones being taken back to being buried in Egypt so that we can bring him back to the promised land. So let's keep going through here. The interesting thing about the book of Genesis is that our patriarchs are Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but Joseph gets more real estate than any of them. This whole section here, for as long as the eye can see, is all about our protagonist, Joseph. And Joseph has some really fun genderqueer stuff that we will do sometime in Torah study. I cannot wait until we get to this point of Genesis, because Joseph plays with gender in a way that nobody else in the Torah does. All right, so as we're coming here through the book of Joseph, I just want to show you now. So we started out with this one being completely empty, and this one here being completely full, and we're getting really close because we are here in the book of Genesis, which is the first of the 5 books of the Torah. We still have our Vavs here. Marilyn's still looking for any of the other ones. So let's keep going through Joseph's story. This is all Joseph, guys. This is all Joseph. Okay, so now Jacob. Yep, okay, so Jacob is starting here. So Jacob, we're moving backwards through time, remember? And we've got these big, long columns with no breaks in them. All the story of our patriarchs and our matriarchs. Vayetze Yaakov mi Beersheva, and Jacob is that? Yeah, that was his bar mitzvah portion. Mine was the one after it. Yep. So this is the story of Jacob going out from
Jacob's ladder.
Yep. And he went and he slept on a rock, and that ended up being some sort of hallucinatory thing. All right, keep going. All right, and we go through Jacob. There was a famine in the land. There are lots of famines in the book of Genesis. They tend to get people moving from one place to another. All right. Abraham. So this, let me find an Abraham that's close to here. Actually, so you can see up here. Right here. Abraham, the name Abraham. Yep. And then we have the sacrifice of Isaac, right?
Yes.
That's what we're looking at? Yep, so we just did this on the high holidays. So, all right, let's keep going. We're moving swiftly. So Isaac basically gets 2 columns of stuff. He almost gets stabbed, he gets a wife, and then he kind of drifts out of the Torah. But he gets top billing, so there's that. So we're coming here through Abraham's story. Abraham, who is a battle leader. Abraham, who's a king. Abraham, who's a farmer and a shepherd. And Abraham does pretty much everything. All right, cool. And now we are getting to the part where the earth is being created. And now I have to move over here to Marilyn, who is panting from exertion because this is not easy. And then the other column is the bet of Bereshit bara Elohim. And God, when God created the world. So I'm going to try to center this. Let's do our blessing for Torah study. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. And we begin again. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim v'et ha'aretz. V'ha'aretz hayta tohu v'avohu v'choshech al pnei tahom v'ruach Elohim merachefet al pnei hamayim. Vayomer Elohim yihi or vayehi or. Vayar Elohim et ha'or ki tov. Vayavdel Elohim bein ha'or uvein ha'choshech. Vayikra Elohim la'or yom u'lachoshech kara laila. Vahi erev vahi voker yom echad. And it was evening, and then it was day, and it was the first day. All right, we did it. I'm going to show you guys these exhausted people who just rolled an entire Torah. Yay! Well done, Marilyn. Well done, Rabbi Benjamin. All right, so we are going to go back. We're going to have to Vizot Torah this time. That's on you. Woo. Okay. Okay, so we are going to go to Vizot Torah, which is found after Genesis. And we're actually going to do Vizot Torah, and then we'll do Misha Baruch just to get the Torah off the table. So you got this? I know you got this.
I hope so.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 yay day 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 yay day 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 yay day 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 וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. Yay day 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 yay day 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 yay day 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 yay day 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 yay day 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 day. Hello everyone. Okay, Marilyn, we can. Okay. At this time, we will do our Mishabera. If there are those that you are thinking of at this time and you'd like to mention them, if there are people that are in need of healing, at this time we think of Harava Haron Ben Tova, Wendy Alderman, Ilka Ashenoff, George Baba, Ramon Chavez, Les Cohen, Megan Carney Cranmer, Sarah Gogwin, Marlene Harris, Steve Hertzberg, Diana Johns, Barb McBrady, Pesach Ben Akiva, Karen Rubin, Charlotte Retkovitz, Shirley Retkovitz, the Ryan Seiler family, Steve Strauss, Jessica Wadatz, Yisraela Devira Bat Avraham Basara, Ahmad Zarur, Hamida Deri, and everyone affected by the coronavirus. We sing our blessing for healing. It's actually on the page before V'zot HaTorah. Mishaberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. And then I have a blessing for our congregation on Simchat Torah. Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us: love of Torah, devotion and prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy. And together we say, Amen. We read responsibly. When Torah entered the world, freedom entered it. The whole Torah exists only to establish peace. Its highest teaching is love and kindness. What is hateful to you, do not do to any person. That is the whole Torah. All the rest is commentary. Go and learn it. Those who study Torah are the true guardians of civilization. Honoring one another, doing acts of kindness, and making peace. These are our highest duties. But the study of Torah is equal to them all because it leads to them all. Let us learn in order to teach, Let us learn in order to do. Ki lekach tov natati lahem Torati al ta'azovu et hayim hi lama chazitim ba betom ha meushar deracheha Tafenom v'chonati b'taha shalom Hashirenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chodesh Chodesh Yameinu Chodesh Yameinu Thank you, Marilyn. And thank you, Ken, for your behind the scenes work. Her husband, Ken, is like hiding out in the back. At this time, we will turn to the Aleinu, which can be found at the bottom of page 322 if you have the small book, or 586 if you have the larger one. And I'm going to take this mask off now that they are safely in the back. Hey, everyone. Aleinu leshabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'teit gedula le'yotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo samech elkeinu kahem, וגורלנו ככל המעונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever.
V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz. Vayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
We turn our thoughts now to those whose presence in the community is only a memory, those who have died in recent days or at this time in years past. At this time, we are recalling Jack Robinson, Arthur Ashkin, Mike Auerbach, Proctor R. Hug Jr., Faye Nagoose, Nancy Livingston, Ralph Wolfstein, Richard Heller, Noel Frankel, Michael Lewis Goldstein, Michael James Lordier, Norma Morhar, Moshe Avnir, Millard Petersky, Ivan Appleruth, Miguel Wicki, Amitza Bat Avraham Vesara, Aaron Ben Beryl Vesara, Enrique Monteverde Nimbriotis, Alan R. Priddy, Al Feldman, Rabbi Sigma Faye Koran, Lori Frankel, William Friedlander, Florence Conti, Sanford Arnold Eisenstadt, Joe Johns, Sherwin Sider. In this Shabbat, we commemorate the yahrzeits of Esther Kaufman, Rabbi Abraham Feinberg, Sherry Grossman, Hattie Kaufman, Harry Greenspan, Samuel Jaffe, Harold David Seelig, Joan Henny Reichman, and Ethel Greenspan. And to those names and the ones that you have added in the comments or in your hearts, we say Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Kaddish Yatom can be found on the top of page 334. If it is your custom, please rise. Yitkadal, v'yitkadash, shemei rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divra chirute, v'yamlich malchute. V'chayechon uvyomechon, uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael. V'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mebarach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithale v'yithalal, shemei dekudesha barichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, ta'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And together we say,
Amen.
Well, we have a few announcements for you this evening. The first is that tomorrow morning, Torah study at 10 a.m. via Zoom.
We are still in Genesis.
So please join us for that. It is always a lot of fun. We would love to have you, whether you are thinking of joining us for the first time or you are a long-time Torah studier with us. So please come to that.
No experience necessary. It's on Zoom.
On Sunday morning, we will be resuming Sinai School, but we have a special session. We are going to be meeting here and doing some Simchat Torah programming.
Correct.
So if you are a Sinai School family, grab the chalk that is in your box, grab your masks, grab a snack, maybe an awning or an umbrella if you've got one, and come on down and we're going to do some really incredible stuff. The beginning
have some fun
of
in the parking lot.
Yes. The beginning of a really, really awesome tradition. So please join us for that. And if you do not have a Sinai School student in your family, stay tuned because
we will have a special Sinai School Simchat Torah offering next week because we will be making a video out of all the cool stuff that the Sinai School kids are going to be doing. So we would love to have everyone, we'll pass it around social media when it comes time for it. But yes, Sunday School is not via Zoom. Masks and social distancing are required. It is an outdoor activity for our families. But yes, please make sure that we all still need to take care of one another and need to socially distance even when we are outdoors. So
on Wednesday at 7 p.m., we have our Temple Sinai board meeting via Zoom. So all Temple members are welcome to attend. Contact the office during the week and we can get you the information you need to join us for that. And then next Friday, oh goodness, next Friday we have a real treat for you. We have the wonderful and incredible return of Shabbat Unplugged. Toby Peckner and I will be, we won't be in the same room, but we will be on the same broadcast with songs and prayers and meditations and all sorts of good fun. That will be at 7:30, as has become our custom for our stream services. So please join us for that. It should be a lot of fun.
And yes, it is 7:30 and not 6 o'clock the way the announcement sheet in the PDF thing,
In the book.
in the booklet. And then next week we do the same thing. We've got Torah study, we've got Sinai School and Hebrew High. If you have a high school age student, we meet once a week with the high school students and do all sorts of fun stuff. And then we are going to have Mike take a few well-deserved rest days. So please note that the office will be open by appointment only from Tuesday to Thursday in October 20th through the 22nd. I think that's good for now, huh?
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
We are still looking for high holiday contributions, and we would love to have your, if it's not too late, it's never too late, right? The gates of heaven may be closed, but the gates of tzedakah aren't. So we would love to have you contribute to our high holiday contribution. You can designate it for a campaign or you can designate it for our general fund. Any of that would be greatly appreciated because the building is open,
Really.
right? I mean, it's open enough, right? the bills need to get paid. So,
Right. And that the money goes to not just the building, but all sorts of programming and things that we do in the community and for the congregation. And
the wider area. We've got a lot of you who are not members here at Sinai because you are from, Utah or Pennsylvania or any other place, and we would love to keep the streaming going and keep making you a part of our community. So, yeah. All right, let's sing a song.
Sure.
All right. So Kiva Moed is going to be our. If you scroll past your announcements, Kiva Moed. Kiva Moed. Kiva Moed. Kiva Moed. Kiva Moed. Yai dai dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai dai. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. All right, let's get that Kiddush cup. I've heard rumors that some of you have a glass of wine with you. So if you have your glass of wine with you, raise it with me as we say our Kiddush for Simchat Torah. Vayhi erev vayhi boker yom hashishi Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachavanu mikol ha'am v'romamanu mikol lashon v'kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'titein lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'ahava Shabbatot limnocha u'moedim l'simcha chagim u'zmanim l'sason et yom haShabbat hazeh v'et yom hashmini chag ha'aseret hazeh zman simchatenu b'ahava mikra kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim kivanu b'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat u'moedei kodesh ve'ahava u'b'ratzon Hit bimcha v'sason hinhatanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat v'Yisrael v'hazmanim. Shabbat shalom and Chag Sameach. Have a wonderful Simchat Torah. You can stretch it out all weekend. And we hope to see you all very, very soon again, either on the feed or live on Sunday morning.